So now we're going to move into something a little more advanced, a more dimensional mockup. Now you can create this actual mockup in a program like Modo or any other 3D software, so that it could be a little more detailed than this, but this is just kind of an easy way to map these smart objects onto a simple mockup like this. So we're going to start with this file which I've created that already has some shapes for masks in here and already has some lighting introduced. So I'm just going to introduce the smart objects by going to File, Place Linked, and I'm going to grab the design die line file that we've been working from. This has the PDF compatibility turned on, so you can see the image, you can see the graphics. I'm going to place it. And for this purpose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple of these. I'm just going to move this inside the folder, and I'm going to hide the mask that I've created for this folder by holding Shift and clicking on it. I'm going to create 3 of these, one for each surface of the box, the top, this front, and then the side over here. So I'm just going to Command J twice so that I have 2 copies of this, and I'm going to hide 2 of them. And I'll start by making a mask for the top. So I'm going to use the marquee tool, which is M, and again, if you hold spacebar down, you can move it around to get that perfect and create a mask for that. Again, I'm on that layer, click the mask button. I have that. It does not have to be perfect right now, but I'm going to hide that. Next one, I'm going to use the marquee again, and I'm going to select this front, and I'm going to mask that, and then I'm going to hide it, and then lastly I'm going to select the side here, marquee tool M, spacebar to move it, and when I get where I like, I'm going to mask it, and I'm just going to name these. I'm going to reveal them all and just name them. Remember, if you have these layers revealed and you name one and you hold tab, you can name the other ones in consecutive order really quickly. And I have basically what I need for my 3 panels that are visible. Now what I'm gonna do though is, because these are linked Illustrator files, and you'll see if I hit Command T to go transform this, basically it's the whole transform, it's the whole object still, so it's kind of stretching off the artboard here. So what I really want to do is take all these linked smart objects and nest them inside other smart objects so that we can manipulate them easy. So I'm just going to take all these, right click or control click, and convert them all to smart objects. And once I do this, now when I hit Command T, it restrains it to these objects, and you can move them around separately. So I'm just going to quickly match all of these to their respective surfaces. Now if you want a more in-depth explanation of how to transform and warp, you can go visit the tutorial specifically on how to do the basics of transform and warp. But Command T, I'm gonna just try to match this top edge here, and just rotating it to match as best as I can, kind of lining that corner up a little. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect, and I can go in and adjust it later on. And then I'm gonna hold Command, I'm gonna click on this, then hold Command while I'm clicking and move it, and I'm gonna match this right edge here, and that's pretty good. I'm just gonna shift it over a couple clicks with the mouse, and then same thing, I'm gonna hold Command, I'm gonna click on it, hold Command, and move this in, and then let go of my mouse click, and then let go of Command. And at any point I could click and hold any of these corners, then hold Command, and then move these corners around if I want to get them to be more perfectly matched. But for this purpose it doesn't have to be perfect, and that I think is okay. So I've got the top, that's pretty close, and then I'm going to do this front side now. You can lower the opacity on it if you want to see it compared to everything else. So I'm going to Command T, and I'll just shift this over just to kind of match at least one edge. And then I'm going to click, hold Command and move it. And then same thing with the corners. Click on the corner, hold Command to move it. But if I hold Shift while I'm doing that, it will stay on this perfect line basically. And then I can just, you know, transform the bottom up a little bit to match, and everything looks pretty lined up there, pretty easy. And then the last thing I'm going to do, I'll bring the opacity back up in that, and the side, I will do the same thing, Command T. I'm going to bring it over to this right side, try to match that in the corner, and grab this other side and click on it and hold, then hold Command and then start moving and match this edge here. And again, no, I could always do the same thing, click on it, hold Command, you know, try to match these edges a little bit better, hold Shift if I want to keep them on a perfect axis. I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. And that's pretty good. And just like that, I have a pretty easy mock-up of this thing. Now, I can hide this, and if I want, I could reveal this, I should say. I could reveal this mask. And if I want, I can put one of these individual masks on each of these because I already created them, and it will kind of clean it up a little bit. So this is the front, and then this will be the right side over here. So again, I created these masks ahead of time pretty easily. And the last thing I want to do is I want to get rid of these pink lines. So I'm going to go back to my original file. But because I've nested these, basically what I have to do is open up all of these nested smart objects. And then when I make the change to one of them, you'll see them all change. So okay, so now I have the front, the side, and the top. And now if any of these I click, it doesn't matter which one, on any of these I can click in this little thumbnail here and it will open the original file. And then if I want to make a change, I can change that background color, Command S, save it, and then when I go to these, anytime I click on one, it will update it. It will update it. But the other thing I wanted to do is get rid of that pink dye line, right? So I'm going to go there on the layers, hide the dye line, save it again. And then, you know, again, each one I click on will update it. See, it got rid of this one because this one is showing. It will get rid of the dye line there and then get rid of the dye line there. And now if I just save all three of these, Command S, Command S, Command S, and it updates everything in there. So that is how you can create a quick and easy mock-up and be able to change all the portions of it using smart objects. So anytime you update your file, all you have to do is open up each of these nested smart objects and they can update as well and save them. So that's a simple, easy way to do that.